Now in this lesson, we're going to discuss what is China, how do we define China, and what are some of the connotations of the word China. Now first, let's examine the origin of the word China under the light of the Chinese language itself. Now in the Chinese language, China is 中国, 中国. Here we can see the scripts for 中国 on the screen. Now, one of those defining characteristics of the Chinese language is that it is monosyllabic, meaning that each word or each character corresponds to just one syllable. So here we've got two characters for 中国, China, which contains two syllables. Now, the first character, 中, means central or middle. And the second character, 国, means nation, kingdom, state, or country. So, the literal meaning for China or 中国 in the Chinese language is the central kingdom or the middle kingdom. So, the word 中国 or the middle kingdom or the central kingdom derived from a historical term called 中原. Again, we see the same characters between the two words, right? Now, 中, central, middle, and yuan means plain. So hence, the meaning 中原, the meaning of 中原 is the central plain or the central state. Now, it refers to the surrounding area of the Yellow River, which will be discussed in our future classes. Now, the Yellow River is considered as the mother river of China. It is located in northern China. Now, 中原 refers to the red-colored area if we take a look at the map of the contemporary China down below. Now, in this map, this red-colored area is called 中原. So this is a historical term. It mostly located in nowadays Henan province of China. A lot of scholars believe that this area is the cradle of Chinese civilization. And as a matter of fact, a lot of archaeological discoveries were made to support this statement. Now, one of the most significant discovery of archaeology was made in Henan province, Anyang city. In the beginning of the last century, it was the discovery of the so-called oracle bones. So here on this photo, we can see a fragment of the oracle bones. Now, the oracle bones refers to the earliest Chinese scripts which were inscribed on animal bones or turtle shells, which were used for divination or fortune-telling purposes initially. So here we can see a fragment of the so-called oracle bones. Although most of us are not linguists, but we can still try to decipher some of those scripts. For example, this script contains three strokes, three flat strokes. So this is number 3. Now, those oracle bones can be dated back to as early as 1250 before the birth of Christ. They are the earliest written scripts for the Chinese language. So that is historical China, which corresponds to the Central Plain area. We also have the cultural China, refers to the areas and regions and countries that adopted the Orthodox Chinese culture. So, what are considered as the orthodoxy in pre-modern Sinosphere countries or the Eastern Asian countries? Now, there are many characteristics of the Orthodox culture. in East Asia. And I will list two of them, the most important two. Now, one is the establishment of Confucianism as the dominant ideology. We will going to discuss what is Confucianism in our future lectures. But Confucianism was founded by a Chinese philosopher whose name was Confucius. And his ideology was considered as the orthodox ideology in pre-modern China. And the Confucianism was also established as the major ideology in the areas and regions which received a cultural influence from China. For example, the Korean Peninsula, who considered itself as the permanent student of Chinese culture. Also, Vietnam and Japan as well. And another characteristics of the orthodoxy in pre-modern East Asian area was the adaptation of the Chinese writing systems. There are many regions and countries that adopted the Chinese writing system as the official writing systems. For example, again, Korean Peninsula, in pre-modern Korea, that all of those government documentations as well as literary works were written in the Chinese language. Also, Vietnam and Japan as well. So those are the two major characteristics of the orthodox ideology, the orthodoxy in East Asia. So any countries and areas that established the Confucianism as their ideology and adopted a Chinese writing system were considered as China. So in this context, China also refers to orthodox. So it can also be used as an adjective. So if, for example, Korean Peninsula can be called China in pre-modern times because it adopted the orthodox Chinese culture, and so was Vietnam. So that is cultural China. So it refers to the areas and countries that was under the influence of an orthodox Chinese culture in pre-modern times. Okay, so now you might wonder why in English language that 中国 is called China, right? Okay, we're going to discuss that later. But most of the time in modern context, when we are talking about China, we are most likely referring to the People's Republic of China, which was established on October the 1st, 1949. So that is the word China in the modern context. Now, in English language, this country is called China instead of 中国. Why? Let's examine the origin of China from other languages. Okay, so in Sanskrit, now Sanskrit is a classical language in the Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent was one of those areas that first recorded China. So in the Sanskrit language, China was written as China. So it is very similar to the word in the English language, China, right? So what does it mean? It refers to the name of the first empire that was established in this area. It is called Qing Empire. So Qing, so this word, China, derived from the name of the Qing dynasty, which was the first unified empire that was established in this area. So China comes from the Qing dynasty. So that was the earliest mention of China in the Sanskrit language. We can also see the word China in Arabic is al-Sin or Sin. Again, it derived from the word Qing, Qing, the name of the first empire, first unified China. And in Hebrew, similarly, it's Sinai. Again, it comes from Qing, the name of the first dynasty of China. Sometimes you will see other words that also refer to the same thing. For example, if you know Russian, or if you know certain Central Asian languages, that in Russian, that China was Katai in Russian. And sometimes it is spelled as Cathay. It is pronounced the same. It has the same pronunciation, Katai. Now, Katai refers to another dynasty which was established by an ethnic group called Qidan, which is nowadays located in northern China. Now, still in the languages, Russian languages or certain Central Asian languages, that China was called Kitai or Katai. So that is China. Okay. And also, sometimes you would see this word, S-I-N-A or S-I-N-O. Now, those are from English language. It also means anything that is related to China.